Hey everyone, Cam315 back with you and with another video with my good old friend Denzel.
So,
Um, so we're back again with another My Hero Academia review for you guys, basically. Um, other than that, we're gonna be talking about
should we do the movie first or the season 3 first?
um, hmm, interesting.
Because part of me is saying that season 3 should go first, but the movie should have came before, right?
Well, if you want to go by continuity story-wise, then yeah,
Hmm.
you can do the movie first. Plus, it's fine. Anyways, and kind of it really kind of leads into season 3 as a whole.
Yeah.
So, anyways, basically, we're gonna do this, and this will be the second to last video in our My Hero Academia review. Well, really, the last My Hero Academia reviews till season 4, and I'll probably when season 4 comes out, I'll probably do episodic reviews on that. I don't know if Denzel will be doing that on his channel because I know when that comes out, I'll be in Connecticut and we won't be able to see each other. But yeah, but that's up to Denzel and stuff like that on his channel. So check it out whenever you have time to.
All right.
So like we said earlier, we're probably gonna start off with the movie. So the My Hero Academia movie, um, well, the full movie of My Hero Academia, it's called My Hero Academia, the movie Two Heroes. I'm I didn't even know this movie when it came out when I started coming. I was really started watching the show, and when I started watching the show, I found out there was a movie that came out with it. And I saw that there was an English dub, but it didn't hadn't came on DVD yet. So I waited till it came on DVD. I saw it in Japanese, and I thought it was good. So I wanted to hear it in English. And when I heard it in English, it was just as good as the Japanese cut. So other than that, what did you think of the movie?
Yeah, I agree. Both English and Japanese are really good. Uh, and that character Melissa, I really like her too.
Oh yes, she's one of the more likable characters. We're gonna get into the aspects of the movie. The movie looked great. The animation is basically like ripped out of the show. And I
Mm-hmm.
know we didn't really speak up about the animation in the previous reviews, but the animation from the movie to the shows, it's looked good
Mm-hmm.
for what it's given. And like I said, the movie kind of has the same dynamic of really animation from the show, and it's really like I would say like probably an hour long episode of My Hero Academia, really.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good. I liked it a lot. The characters did really good with what they were given. So yeah, to move on to the story, we're just gonna try to really skim past the story, and then just because really the story of the film, it's a whole passing of the torch kind of story, where one generation moves on to the next generation, basically, and it's basically telling the story of All Might and his friend David Shield, and it shows some flashback scenes throughout the movie of them doing what they used to do in the past, like by helping people out in the city or really in the United States, and saving people. And basically, through and you see those. I would say probably like how would you put it? Like the
Mm.
you it well you see it like from what they did passed on to their basically
Um.
successors,
Yeah.
which are Deku in All Might's case, which is his successor, and
And
then Melissa Shield, who is the daughter of David Shield and hopes to be the successor to him, her dad. But really, long story short, that's basically the story. Another skimming through the story is where Deku and All Might they get a call, or well, really, All Might gets an email from Melissa Shield, which in later in season 3 in the 21st episode, which was a spin-off movie, which was a spin-off episode advertising the movie. The end of that episode, it showed the email that All Might got from Melissa to come to Island and visit her and her dad to see the thing that her dad was working on. So he invites Deku to come with him, and they basically go around Island. They meet up with Melissa and then see David Shield again,
Mhm.
and then really, when they meet after Deku and Melissa go their way, really, when doing tests on him, David Shield sees that All Might's quirk levels are dropping and it's failing, and it's mostly due to the fact that he passed on One for All to or is it? Did I say One for All?
Yes, you said one for all.
That's the bad guy, right?
No, that's all for one.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I keep getting mixed up. But One for All.
Good thing you have me here to correct you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. So, anyways, One for All. Basically, he's seeing that it's his quirk levels are dropping because he already passed on his quirk to Deku, and it's already explained that it's slowly dropping at a constant rate. So basically, throughout story, by the time the climax of the film happens, it's basically revealed that there was an invention that David Shield was making where it could power up a quirk level, and he was going to use that for All Might, so All Might didn't. So All Might's quirk levels could have just stayed what it used to be, probably like, and even gain more power from it. But in turn of it, they hired villains who they thought were fake, but really they were real villains sent from All for One, and really that it turned into a double plot twist where his little butler later gives the invention to the villains, and yeah, and it was a good little thing, and that's really the whole plot of the story, really, and it's all like how the past generation like has to accept with the fact that they're not in the good old days anymore, and they gotta eventually move on and pass the next elements in life to the future.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's kind of like I don't know. It's a little twisted how David Shield like had to go through so much trouble just for All Might, and he didn't realize was on ahead for him, like for well, like what's going on after All Might.
And it's funny because the villain in the film, the main villain, which his name was Wolframe, um, he basically was saying, "Well, now look what you did. You kind of got your hands dirty by doing this. So that kind of makes you a villain yourself." And it goes back to the whole contradicting aspect of villains being saying, "Well, like you say you're doing these heroic things to characters that genuinely are good, but they just make bad decisions." Like how in our season 2 review, Ida kind of made a bad decision by just focusing on his revenge and stuff like that instead of helping, say, the hero that really needed help. And Stain called him out on that. And it's another case where a villain calls out on another good-hearted character who's just making a bad decision, saying, "Well, guess what? You may be a good person, but you got yourself working some dirty work, and now look at you. You say you want to be a hero, like you want to be a hero and help out other people. No, you're not really doing that. You're really kind of being a villain in an aspect." So yeah, and stuff like that. There was also there was a plot device for Deku because this is Deku before things later transpire in season 3, where he gets the full gauntlet, which is an invention made by Melissa, which basically protects him from breaking his like arms when he uses 100% power. And it was a nice little I guess plot device in a way to basically make Deku do things in this movie, because if he didn't have it in this movie, he probably would have died a long time ago. He probably would have got past like the whole staircase thing But I would probably say when it came up to fighting Wolframe, I don't think he would have done it, and they might have probably actually lost
Yeah,
the
true.
fight if it wasn't for the full gauntlet. Especially at the end when Wolframe actually takes the device and puts it on himself and uses it for him.
What's Melissa Sheep?
So yeah, characters in this film, they're all lovable. It's the same. Well, really, it's cut down. It's not the entire cast. Mostly the main cast members are in this movie, like Deku, All Might to an extent,
Hmm.
Bakugo, Todoroki, Momo, Ida.
Mm, we see a few others like Tsu,
Yeah, but
but yeah, they're not exactly like in there.
well,
Like,
they're on the island. They say in the movie they're on the island. They just can't do things till the park is opened up to the public.
mm-hmm.
So and they show them just in a hotel room, especially when the crisis is going on. They're just in the hotel room doing nothing. So they were kind of pushed to the side. Basically for the new, really for the newest main character lead, Melissa Shield. I liked her a lot. She had a very bright personality and brought a fondness and in a way somewhat captured, well, I wouldn't say captured the essence of the All Might David Shield relationship, but you could feel like um the two successors to All Might and David Shield
Yeah,
are in these kids, and the funny thing is they're friends just like their successors are. They're basically, well, in Deku's case his fatherly figure, and in Melissa's Shield her father.
yeah. It's it's quite amazing what those four have like throughout the years. And
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's also later explained that Melissa does not have a quirk, and it was a little heartwarming scene where Deku wanted to tell her,
Mhm.
like, he was not, he was quirkless too, but he had to keep it secret because one for all
Yeah,
couldn't put Melissa and her dad in danger from All for One.
you got it right this time.
hmm So, I liked I liked it. I liked Melissa Shields' character. It was a huge. It was another one of those characters where it's like she looks from the aspect where it's like, oh, she may not be quirkless, but she can help out in many ways because she makes other inventions for the heroes and stuff like that,
hmm
and is able to basically. You can move over honestly to get yourself in the picture because you're kind of going off screen, brother.
Indeed.
But
But you're the main star, man. You're the main star.
but I was saying, but anyways, I was saying, she basically does inventions, and she was a third year student in her academy when it comes to making what is it, support items for heroes, and yeah,
hmm
um, but to close out the movie review for a second before we get to season three, I would say I would, if she were to ever come back and make an appearance, I would love for the people of My Hero Academia to bring her back. But if it's just like, oh, she's just there because of the movie, but she's still in the continuity, yeah, that's good. And also, this movie is canon as well because it takes place in the My Hero Academia timeline.
hmm
It takes place directly before they do certain events in season three. But if I were to rate this movie, it's probably I would give it a 10 out of 10. It captures the essence of basically the anime just in an hour and probably 52 minutes. Watch.
10 out of 10. Probably 11 out of 10 because
Oh, can I just say this? I know I didn't say about any of the other ones, but the climax scene battle when Deku and All Might were running together, that was
that
a very
was
powerful scene
epic.
because I saw that as powerful because it's like Deku's gonna be like him one day eventually,
Mm-hmm.
where he's gonna be where he's gonna be saving people.
Ah, ah, ah,
I want to
just
go.
imagine that doing. Just imagine Deku doing
I
that.
can't. I can't. And then also I gotta say the music at the end. You say run. I did not. I forgot to completely bring this up in the last two, but whenever that music song plays, you already know it turns you up. I get turned up so much listening to that song. and all I gotta hear is dun 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 dun.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, and it's crazy. So other than that, that's the review of what we thought about My Hero Academia, Two Heroes, the movie. So now we're gonna get on to season three, which season three it kind of changed the fold of how when it gets to the main point of the story of the heroes versus the villains, it's gonna get darker.
Really?
And this this season is split into two different arcs. One is the camp arc, and then the other one is the hero license exam arc. Um, I personally, season I like I said in my last review, season two is my favorite, and I think in a way it's also my favorite because now I can talk about it. And this one is, I did like the way that they started off season three by getting to the part where the villains attack the students at the camp, but when they went on to the hero licensing exam, it's not that I say I didn't like it. It's just kind of like
Kind of died down, like the intensity.
it kind of what is it? It kind of just put a stop to the main story of the heroes versus the villains.
But then again, it's just showing like not like they're having permission to move on to like their next phase on becoming a hero. So
And also more growth being in the field because they went up basically against second year students and third year students. I mean, mostly third year students who are expecting to get their hero license by then. Well, it's really kind of like a permit, but before they get their official hero license. But yeah. But anyways, to start off, season three, the first episode was basically your typical recap episode of what's happened in the past season, and it was basically where I forgot the electric guy's name. No, Kaminari and Mineta, they basically say ask Deku if they want to go swimming, so they can basically look at the girls in basically, in their opinion, bikini suits, and they had some kind of daydreaming like what they would all look like in their bikinis, basically. So, but they only find out that Deku later invited the entire class, which was the boys, and they were just gonna do a swimming workout, and it's basically a whole recap episode of certain characters meeting and seeing each other. Like, for example, they do the whole aspect of Deku, Todoroki, and Ida, what happened from Hosu City as a remembrance to what happened and stuff like that. And then in the episode, they later have a little swimming race contest, and it was funny because most of the characters didn't even swim. Like Bakugo and Todoroki, they just basically either use their eyes to get across or just use their explosions to basically what is it in essence get over the competition. And
it's called freestyle swimming.
Oh yeah, that was funny. That was funny. And then right before the final three, which is Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo, which technically they are the final three, are the strongest three people in the classroom.
True.
In the class, but they later were shut down due to Aizawa because he's like, all right, it's time to leave. It's get out of the pool. It's after pool hours, and it's like, darn it, we won't be able to see the 3-man versus. So basically, season 3 for majority part of the year also takes place during the summertime as well, but apparently this academy forces them to still go to school in an essence of it being like summer school. And I'm like, well, if it's summertime, why are they still doing school stuff? I'm like, I guess you're forcing them to do summer school because what is it? And because I remember from season 2 in the final exam, they said if you don't pass your final exam, you have summer school. They kind of neglected that, and they're like, well, everyone's having summer school now. In essence, it's just the people that failed the test, they get basically a late night lessons.
Yeah.
In aspect. And I was like, oh, okay.
That sucks.
So yeah, so basically, there's more also that which also starts off. Shigarashi also starts up the League of Villains by meeting Himeko, Toga, and Dabi.
Oh, people for some reason claim best girl Toga. I don't know why. I get I.
People, I think people say that's more Momo's stature, but I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
yeah, a lot of people are liking Toga for the way she is, how kinky she gets.
I think it's the fact that she's crazy and
People like their crazy girls, huh?
that's a,
We'll get more into that.
that's a story for
Yeah.
another day of what is our favorite My Hero Academia waifus in the show. But my favorite's Momo. She's my favorite girl in the show. But whatever. Um, yeah. So he basically starts off, and then so basically Toga and Dobby are basically two people that were inspired by Stain's video. And basically, the whole rest of the League of Villains that are brought into the fold were all inspired by Stain. So, in a way, they saw what Stain did, and now all the League of Villains are coming out. Really, all the more villains are coming out now. So, it later leads into the aspect of Shigaraki now making a plan to attack Deku and the others. So, basically, Deku and the rest of the class go to a campgrounds where apparently no one knows the location and where it's going to be held at unless you were the teachers, one of the staff members, or the students.
They thought.
They That's what they thought. So basically, they were going to the camp to originally get their hero licenses, other provisional hero licenses, and then that all backfired because of what happens with the villains attacking the camp. Mm-hmm. So basically, they were also joined by Class 1B, and they have a little rivalry, Class 1A and Class 1B, and it's a funny thing. And this is where we also get introduced to more pro heroes. The the Wild Pussycats. Crap.
Yeah.
And there are four pro heroes. I forgot the muscular dude name of the quadruplets. I know the blue one was named Pixie Bob. I don't know who the red one was named, but I know her name is Shino or something like that. And what was the yellow one that looked like she was crazy and whacked out?
Man, I forgot hers.
I forgot her name too, but there was four of them. So, anyways, they also use the camp to train to better their quirks and stuff like that. And they redo the same ball thing from season 1. And the reason why they're training the quirks to get stronger is so they can break past limitations of theirs, or things that really hold them back.
Yeah.
So for example, one of Todoroki's things is using his fire and his ice at the same exact time.
Yeah.
Because if he does that, he could be a very formidable opponent.
And Ochako learning how to use her quirk without, hurling, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, basically throwing up. But yeah, so we then later cut to, or really after they basically get sprung upon, like really, little kind of like trick by the wild pussycats to basically fight these tree monsters. And after they're done fighting these tree monsters, basically they run into this little kid named Kota, and
that's when Deku got kicked in the balls.
Yeah. And then another funny scene, in that same episode is when they're all in the when all the guys and the girls are split up and they're in the hot springs, and Manetta's like, oh my goodness, I need the girls, I need them, because he knows like they're basically kind of naked over there, and he uses his balls to try to climb up the wall. And it was funny because Kota just shows up out of nowhere, and he's like, if you want to be a hero, at least be respectful. And it was funny because he knocked him out. He's like, oh, come on.
I'll get you for this.
And it was funny because then the moment Kota turns around, the girl's like, oh, yeah, that's great. And then he sees, like, basically half naked girls as a little kid, and he's like, ah! And then he falls over, and basically Deku catches him, but he's knocked out. And from then, I'm like, well, that kid's scarred for life. So basically, he later takes her back to Shino, who is Kota's aunt, and basically she tells him the story why Kota does not like heroes, and the reason behind Kota not liking heroes is because his parents were killed by a villain, and he felt like because of the death, his parents abandoned him and he was left alone. And yeah, it's a little sad, little tragic backstory to his character, and that's why he really hates heroes. Then cut to the chase. Really, the villains attack the thing. They take out one of the wild wild pussy cats, which is Pixie Bob, with a crazy like. You can say it if you want to say it.
No. I was just about to say when I first saw like a hand, a bloody hand fall. I thought that was her hand, like that. Just like,
oh, you're talking about the one dude with the metal teeth?
Yeah, I was like,
that's what I thought too. That was the yellow haired one, the yellow colored one.
I was like, oh shit.
I was like, oh,
did he eat her?
Did he eat her? Because I thought he was like because he was in a straitjacket and looking all crazy and everything. I'm like, they really did not do this.
I was like, oh my god, did my hero academia go beyond that?
I was like, because I remember first seeing that, I was like, oh my goodness, they really did a fatality in this, and she got eaten. I was like, oh, I'm like, this is how we're doing this?
Fatality.
But yeah, basically the villains who are now working with Shigaraki basically attack the camp, and basically the reason why behind it is they're looking for Bakugo, because when Deku knows where Kota's been, which he's on this cliff, he comes and tries to save him from this villain whose quirk is basically expanding his muscles and making him stronger, and his name is Muscular. And it was one of the more epic fights in the thing. And even though it resulted in basically Deku losing his arms in the process, it was still a cool fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Didn't he just lose one arm?
No, he lost both of them. Because when he tried to block one of Muscular's punches, he broke his arm.
True.
Just doing that. Just blocking the punch alone.
Yeah, and that's when like Kota starts saying like what being a hero was like just from watching Deku protect him.
Mm-hmm. And it was a good thing. Honestly, Deku, when he got him that one time, he could have just picked up Kota and just ran away. Really.
Mm-hmm.
And could have went to go get more help, but he stayed and he fought. And he pushed himself to 100% power, really. He gave it all he had of One for All, and he literally he really messed up his arm, like, bad, because when he first tried to fight him, he tried using 5% power, and it was doing absolutely nothing to the guy. And even the dude was like, you call that a punch? And stuff like that. And the crazy thing about Muscular is, Muscular was the villain that killed Kota's parents. So it was kind of a revolving thing where it's like, oh, he almost died to the same guy. His parents got killed too, and it was just a really like crazy thing. Another interesting thing, especially with Toga, if you want to get into talking about Toga.
Oh yeah.
What does she do with?
This is when she encountered like Ochako and Sue and right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now for everybody's so-called best girl. Yeah. This is like while the girls are fighting and Ochako pretty much like had her pinned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Otogo was all talking at Ochako about like, hey, you're in love with someone, right, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that's when like she pretty much caught her off guard and like caught Ochako with the what's it called?
One of those like basically needle shots or whatever,
and started draining Ochako's blood or just taking some of her blood.
Yeah, she later got away. because I think at that time Deku ran into her and basically helped out Chaco and saved her and stuff like that. And yeah, um, I was like, okay, what is this girl up to where she needs blood? And I'm like, yeah, that was crazy. So, anyways, basically, um, Deku later also finds Shino when he's running back after saving Kota,
Mm-hmm.
and he's basically tells Shino like, listen, they're trying to go after, going after Bakugo. So she later her quirk was she later can basically telepathically communicate to anybody across certain diameter of field, and that's basically she was letting people saying, listen, Bakugo, everyone can fight now for your own protection and stuff like that, and for Bakugo to get back to the bay, get back to the campground so he can be safe. Another episode that was pretty cool is when they did the whole 1B class when the metal guy, basically kind of like Kirishima, him and the one girl who looks like Misty with the big hands, Kendall.
Kendall.
Yeah, where they basically take on a villain themselves, and it was a nice little scene because the metal guy was like, "Listen, I can't stand for this. Class 1A is always getting the rep and stuff or fighting the villains. I don't want to go fight a villain to prove that we're not slackers either." And they defeated a villain who was basically no younger than them.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Or no older.
Yeah, really. Or yeah, no older than them, and it's just crazy. And that was a good thing because it shows like they, in a way, they matured as well. And we got a little insight of what Class B is about, and Morley Kendall, because she was with the internship with Momo in season 2 when they were with that one fashion hero. And also Kendall always showed up when that one yellow haired dude always just started talking stupid trash on them, and then she would just knock him out. And I found that so funny when the dude's just like, oh my goodness, you know Class 1A, you weren't all that good. And then he'd knock her out or knock him out. And it was the funniest thing. And I'm like, this dude does not shut up.
I know, it's kind of irritating though. Kind of irritating.
And it's funny, you know, a funny thing is, I guess he was put in the same after like the whole late night program. And they walk in, he's like, oh, you guys are bad, you're a fan too. And he started laughing, and it was Kirishima was like, darn it, we have to live with this guy, and this guy won't stop talking. And it was funny. It was really funny. Because that guy really, the dude just for some reason started berating them. And that's all of Class 1A. And he just started randomly doing that.
Ever since that time, Bakugo pretty much out like smarted him during the...
Oh, the cavalry battle from season 2?
Yeah.
That's when he's had some kind of issue with Class 1A.
I don't... Just that one issue.
That one issue, and then all of a sudden he takes it out on the entire class. I'm like, this guy needs to chillax.
Kendall, please knock him by the neck, please.
And he's basically just another running gag like Mineta. With the girl aspect. He's just a running gag that's just there to make you laugh, and it's funny stuff. It's funny comedy because he's just taunts and berates Class 1A, and they're like, dude, shut up. And then he just gets knocked out by Kendall. But speaking about Kendall, I actually like her character in this. We don't see her much in the anime as a whole. But in that one episode where she goes to help the metal guy stop the villain, you can see that those two really do have aspirations to be heroes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another good thing to see, like, even if we focus on our main class, there are other classes out there that they want to be heroes as well. And it just goes to show, and it's even in the grand aspect, because when I used to play football, I'm like, when I think about it, it's not just people in California that just play football. There's a whole grandeur of people around the country that play football.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, when it relates to this, it's like, there ain't just, and it even gets to the hero licensing arc, too. There isn't just, like, one school bit, which is UA, which is the biggest school in Japan. There's a bunch of other schools that have heroes or people that want to be pro heroes.
Mm-hmm.
and it's from the aspect of like, there's always other people out there, and I think that's pretty, and I think it's pretty cool
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So anyways, basically Deku basically runs into crap. I forgot the guy with the extra limbs and stuff like that's name, but he finds him, and he runs into Tokuyami, who's basically lost control of Dark Shadow.
Oh yeah, that was the most frightening thing I've seen.
And if you want to go into this, you can, because that was crazy.
Yeah, back in season 2, it was explained how if Tokoyami is in complete darkness, apparently Dark Shadow will go insane. And here, that's where we got a taste of how insane it could become. Yeah. So there, Deku and that arm guy, what's it called?
Yeah, I don't. I forgot. I forgot.
Yeah, but they're in a situation like they're gonna try to have to bring light to Tokayami. So yeah, they eventually try to lead a dark shadow towards Bakugo and Todoroki, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when Bakugo blasts some explosions and calms them down a bit.
That's also when they run. That's well, not yet. That's when they get him. They're headed back to the camp, but then later they realize Bakugo's not there. They realize there was this villain who can actually turn people into like little pebbles and just carry them. I forgot what his name was, but he was basically holding them. He later took also not Todoroki, Tokoyami as well, and they later when they later catch up with the League of Villains, they later get one of the mini balls, and they think they got Bakugo as well, but they only got Tokoyami, and they only realized that they got Bakugo, and when they were pulling Bakugo in the little portal,
yeah, that's when Deku tried to reach for him, but he was too late.
And majority because his arms were broken, and then even what's his face, Bakugo was like, "Stay away, Deku." And personally, this is me watching the first time. I was like, "Oh,
shoot!"
And me watching them like, this is this is albeit before, because this is before we get the character development of Bakugo and stuff like this. So I'm thinking, so this is how I feel like he might turn into a villain. Because I always had a villain like Bakugo might turn into a villain and be a rival to Deku as a villain hero thing. But really, basically, news gets out around Japan that basically the campsite was attacked and one student was taken. And basically the press is like holding the UA accountable. It's like, how could you do this? You guys don't have enough security and stuff like that. And really, what is it? Aizawa was answering all the press questions saying, listen, we did the best we could. We did not see this attack coming, and yada, yada, yada. And it's just a result of the whole issue. So one of the things is, and also one of the things is when the class gets back, there are some heroes that are injured. Deku's in the hospital. Momo was also in the hospital because she got knocked out and she was hurt pretty bad. And one of the things is when the entire class was talking, is they felt bad that Bakugo got taken. And one of the things Kirishima wanted to do was go find Bakugo and go rescue him. And he was asking Deku like, hey, come on, come join me. I know you feel just as guilty for letting Bakugo be taken. So let's get Momo, and we can use a tracker that she placed on a Nomu, which was at the thing, and Momo put a tracker on one of the Nomu, so to use the to find the hideaways and stuff like that, and that's what they did. And she also gave him to All Might and the police force as well, because she can make a tracker off of it. So Kirishima was like, listen, let's do that. And even Todoroki was in on it because he's like, listen, we got to save Bakugo.
Yeah, but most of the students just objected to it.
Oh yeah, most of the students were against it. Like Ida, for example, he was like, we can't do this. Because Ida was coming from the standpoint, was like, listen, we got in trouble from the police chief from what we did in Hosu after injuring Stain, and we can't afford to do that. As much as we want to help Bakugo, we can't do that. But Deku is in this way, well, I feel guilty. I gotta help him, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And Ida does come along because he's like, okay, as long as there's no fighting and it's too dangerous, I'll go. But if it gets to that extent, then we got to bail.
Yeah.
And another character that gets brought into the limelight, Sue, during the internship, I forgot to bring this up during the second season. Quick thing about Sue, she had her own little standalone episode in season 2 when they were doing the hero internships back in season 2, and I thought that episode was really, really well done. I loved it a lot because it was basically Sue working with other people on the ocean front that basically have some powers. Like the captain of the ship basically was a seal, and he had the same powers as basically a seal. And it's the same thing like Sue's power, how she has the same powers as a frog. And I thought that episode was really good. And it's like, I wish they gave an episode, like a standalone episode, to every main cast member of what they were doing instead of just cutting towards what they were doing at that moment in season 2. And I really liked that standalone episode because it actually made Sue get some character development in that episode, because it kind of made her shown like why she wants to be a pro hero in her aspect as well. And I thought it was a really good episode because in a way the person who she was working under as an intern, really I liked that character in it too. So it was a good thing. And other than that, yeah. But Sue, from the standpoint, was basically saying, like, listen, I know you guys want to help save Bakugo. It's just, I can't. It's just maybe we shouldn't do it. And she was one of the main people that, like, I don't know, in an aspect, really doubted the whole idea of them doing what they had to do.
Yeah, she kind of sees them if they do this, and then she sees it like this, like if they do this, then they won't be seen as heroes but as villains.
Yeah, and it was one of those another contradicting elements. But they end up later doing it. They go track it. And Momo joins in on it, and they later track the whole thing. So when they get to this building, the building they find is a building where the Nomu are being made. And basically it's later explained that Nomu are people with,
not exactly people, but
not people, but things that are taken from just basically people that just minds just completely warped. And this comes from the aspect of trying to put too many quirks into one person. That's how the Nomu can have up to 4 quirks in one body, and it was just a really dark thing.
So basically a carbon copy, like a miniature copy of an even bigger enemy that will come up later on.
So due to the tracker, All Might and the police force, working with all the other top heroes, the top 10 heroes, they all later find Shigarachi's hideout. They try to arrest him, but they all escape, and the Nomu is escaping. And this is when it starts to heat up, because that's when they find Bakugo, and they think they got Bakugo, and then it's just crazy. And then all of a sudden, we cut back to what the other heroes are doing when they find the Nomu complex, and they're basically going to shut it all down. And that's when the main villain, All For One, shows up.
Yeah, brutally injuring one of the pro heroes, and pretty much beating up the rest, actually. And until All Might tries to.
And when he used the power where he just made everything just go to crap, you could see the fear on Deku and the others' faces of like utter shock, because Deku says, in that moment we felt death. And I'm like, oh. So basically, All Might eventually shows up to the picture. He fights All For One. It's also later revealed that All For One was the guy that gave him the rib injury all those years ago. And from that aspect, it was pretty crazy. And there's also more revelations that happen, and another revelation is that All for One killed All Might's master. What is it? Nana Shimura. Yeah. So he killed his predecessor, who had All for One, and killed his master, and
One for all.
one, and it was just, it was heartbreaking because All Might really got upset at that. And he was really trying to hurt the dude because he's like, you took everything from me and stuff like that. And then the last big revelation is later revealed that Shigarashi is actually
Oh yeah.
um related to Nana Shimura. Crap.
Grandson.
I think, yeah, I think it was his was her grandson. And All Might holds himself responsible for that because he didn't know. And the reason why is mostly because she didn't want Shigarashi to be in the whole aspect of worrying about the hero stuff and stuff like that. And All Might during the fight blames himself for not being there for him. But then Gran Torino's like, you can't worry about basically what happened to him. He is who he is, and that's is the fact that he's a villain. And you can't change him because of that, because he used to be related to your former master. And the battle between we're not, even though we're giving the spoilers, we're not gonna say what's going on during the All for One All Might battle because that's just a battle that just says it for itself, and that's just something you just need to see. Like we can't even say it. All I just gotta say is just watch it. And we're just gonna cut to the hero licensing arc. So basically, the hero licensing arc is where they get their chance to get their licensing, and they basically gotta take these things. So when they get past these, they basically meet up with other
other students
schools.
from other
other students from other schools, and one of the requisites to get to the next round to basically kind of in some way get closer to a guaranteed provisional license, hero license, is the fact that only 100 people have to pass the test, the first part of the exam.
Yeah, that's really that's really something.
And there was a lot of people. So basically, the one thing, you sound like you're hungry. We'll finish this review pretty fast.
Don't worry about it.
But basically, I like the whole aspect because most of the main, each really core hero from UA got their time to shine, and they got their own episodes in this first part. Deku, Ochako, and the tape guy. I think his name is Sato or Sero or something like that. They all got their chance to shine. Todoroki got his time to shine. Bakugo got his time to shine with the others. Ida and the group he was with got their time to shine. And shockingly, the laser beam guy even was with Ida's group, and he got some good character development because we found out why he wants to be a hero too. And it was a nice little backstory because he was really going to give up the chance to get a license just for Ida to get his. And yeah, but I would say my favorite thing was I don't know, I just like the Momo character development aspect. I like the Momo character development aspect. That episode was good where she actually had to outsmart someone who had super basically was super smart. It was really good. Like she had the thing on her plan because the super smart girl was thinking, oh, she makes this one move, we got them. And Momo basically had to like think her way out of this situation because one wrong move, they would have been screwed.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that because I love that, and it was just good storytelling, and I just love that episode. It's one of my favorite.
He loves her.
Oh, I love Momo. You know, she's my honestly. Thanks to Deku, she might be my favorite character after Deku because I just like her character development. She's like a girl that's really unsure of herself, but when she takes this moment to think and stop, she's really smart. And stuff like that. And albeit she even got into the school on recommendation as well, so she's a smart girl, and I like her for that. Now, as for best girl in the anime, it's a tie between her and Ochako. I like both of them, but I kind of side with Momo a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And it's not because the character design, what she looks like. It's just her character in general. The character design looks cool, and yeah, I'm just gonna go there. I'm not trying to do anything. Well, was that? But other than that, basically, that episode says it enough. That's one of my favorite episodes of all time in My Hero Academia. I might even go watch that out, rewatch it again because that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But next thing they get past that part, and I really no. Actually, when it comes to Deku's little moment, he meets across this girl named Cammy, and man, was she? It's a let's just say she was another one of the common tropes where the girls are into Deku and stuff like that. And it was kind of strange how crazy much she was into Deku.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like Cammy's power was shapeshifting because she shapeshifted herself to look like Ochako.
Mm-hmm.
And she almost tried to fool Deku by trying to eliminate him. And it was like to the point where she literally, when she tried to shapeshift, she literally, in a way, it wasn't really where she was naked, but I know they explained like she was naked. And it's funny because after the first part of the exam's over, after everyone passes, um, Sero basically tells Mineta and Kaminari, like, yo, Deku, you see that uber hottie over there? Deku got in the hot of her and saw her naked.
And that's when Ochako starts getting a little
insecure and jealous, and that's when we get to the whole Ash and that really the Mineta Kaminari thing. He's like, you're stupid, how could you look? And it was funny because like when they cut back to her, she's just waving and stuff like that. She's like, look at you, look at her, she's waving at you, she's into you, brother. And it was funny. I'm like, oh my goodness, and stuff like that. So then they later get to the aspect of where they have to save people, and that's how they get the license. And they just basically got to make sure they keep their points above 50, something like that, or not let it drop too low. And basically, when going back to Ochako and her feelings for Deku, when Deku goes off his own way to do something on his own, she later basically says like, I need to really focus on myself more. As I'm like, I can't have these feelings for Deku really affect things that I do, because otherwise I kind of might. In a way, she kind of saw herself. Her feelings made her as a tag along to Deku. In a way, it made her feel like she wasn't as strong as enough if she was on her own. She's like, maybe in a later time I'll feel this some sort of way about him later on, but I can't let my feelings for him deteriorate what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, that moment, like, I kind of felt bad for Ochako because she has, I don't know, all this time she's been having these feelings for Deku, and seeing like he's been with other girls and stuff.
And the funny thing is, before they even take the next part of the test, it looked she was probably about to tell him like I like you, like that, and that's when the bell runs. Like, all right, time for the next part of the exam.
God damn it, Bell.
And like I said, and in the future, I think there's gonna be a part where she eventually will express how she feels about him.
I would hope so.
And I hope it's a very touching scene, and I'm hoping that they don't give Deku the whole main protagonist syndrome where, oh, okay, thanks for telling me that though, and he just moves on. I hope like he actually feels some sort of way, because there are hints that Deku has feelings for Ochako as well.
Then again, doesn't he behave that way when a girl gets too close in general?
Well, out of all the girls he's met, he has obnoxiousness towards girls, but towards Ochako, you can tell that he cares about her deeply, and he feels some sort of way about her. And who knows, maybe in the future, they'll take it from the aspect where maybe Deku starts to develop something for her.
Speaking of ships, I've noticed when I was scrolling around through Instagram, people have been shipping Ochako with Bakugo.
It's so.
Did you?
I've seen. It's a weird pain.
I never understood Where did that ship come from? What?
I don't know. It probably came from the second season battle they had, and I guess him not acknowledging the fact that she wasn't that half bad as as a fighter. I would say. I don't know how that started out because they literally had no interactions with one another.
Yeah, more or less.
But yeah. So basically, they do that. There's another slight plot between Todoroki and this one guy who would have went to UA, but he went to this other school named Shueisha Academy, and the reason behind that is because he was upset at Todoroki, and because basically the dude looked up to Endeavor, and Endeavor was a jerk to him at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and he felt like he saw the same thing in Endeavor he saw in his son Todoroki. And it's later revealed in the flashback that when they did the UA um, entrance exams and stuff like that, they later him and Todoroki interacted, but Todoroki was in the aspect of him that was back him when before he had all the good character development and before he became a really genuine good guy. This is when Todoroki was kind of a jerk to people, and he just really only did this for himself. Because there was one sign is like, listen, I don't care. This is not a competition to me. He's like, I'm just doing this for my own reasons.
Which makes me wonder how did all that change? Like, was it the fight with Deku or?
I would say probably the character growth because of Deku, and as well as the fact of him seeing his mom again.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said in season 2, when he was talking to Ida during the battle, he was like, "Yeah, I thought my mom would hate me and resent me, but really she forgave me for everything that transpired in the past." I think it's the fact that he later just accepted the fact that, okay, I'm my father's son. Just because my father is basically an a-hole to other people doesn't mean I can be like that. And that's why Todoroki is one of the more likable characters because he's basically, I would say he's just a good he's a character that changed over time really and stuff like that. So they also basically during the time they also when they realized that they've been messing up, they worked together. The two people who were fighting, Todoroki and I guess his person he had issues with, and they were fighting Gang Orca, who I thought was a really cool looking hero.
Yeah.
Even though he looked like a villain, but he was really cool looking and yeah, so basically once the thing is over, basically all the UA students pass with the exception of Todoroki and Bakugo because of key problems they had. Todoroki's case, he didn't work well with others, so that basically gave him an automatic fail. And then Bakugo was just
being Bakugo,
and they just gave him a fail. But they later say, but the announcers later says, well, you can just come back and take like a few week course to get your hero's license. And I'm like, well then, then I was like, because it was funny because I heard that and I was like, well then then that basically means anybody that failed previously now gets a shot at making it. Because in the previous round, there was this one guy who's like, please, because he was telling Deku, he's like, please, just spare me. I need to really get my license. He was like, I'm sorry, but I got to do the same thing too. I'm like, well, then now that guy gets a shot to get a license now. Basically, I'm like, well, whatever. So now we get into character development. And this is character development for. Oh, and actually, before anything, Deku also changed his fighting style. Instead of going for punches because of the last fight he had with Muscular, he messed up his arm so bad that he could have lost the function of his arms. He could have paralyzed his arm. He could have had paralyzed arms where he would have never moved. So he got some training from Ida, and as well as getting help from Mei Hatsume to basically build him new arm braces, which in another sense upgraded his costume, and also upgraded some of his shoes. He changed up his fighting style for like basically his an aspect. Deku really doesn't have. I don't think he really has like his final finishing blow move yet. I think his finishing blow will still be the Detroit Smash. It's just he's not using the functions of his arms at this point in time. But he changed up his fighting style where he's just doing kicks and stuff like that because now it makes him a little bit different from All Might. Instead of using fist and punching, he's using his legs, which makes his legs a lot stronger and also shown that he's faster too.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, we get to the whole Bakugo character development, and what is it? That's where him and Deku have their second fight, and it was a really good fight, and it was
Yeah.
character development needed for Bakugo because Bakugo was because at the end of the fight, All Might comes in to see them, and he's basically like he blames All Might for what happened in the battle with All for One and stuff like that, and yeah, and it was a heartwarming scene. What do you have
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah. I saw the way like Bakugo was blaming himself. Like God, I so feel for him. Like yeah, but yeah, and I saw like I see why Deku finally sees why Bakugo wants to fight him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, and also during the fight, Deku upgrades from 5% power to 8% power now.
Or was it 6%?
No, it was 8%. It was
Okay.
8%. I personally would have made it, or he would go up by every 5, where instead of going 8, I would have made him go 10% of one for all.
That would be too easy, man. That would be
Right.
too easy.
8% is good. So now Deku can go up to 8% of his power
Mm-hmm.
and use 8% instead of using 5% now. So that's another good thing he can do. Now, the whole thing was it really opened up the character, and that's when the moment was when I realized, like, okay, I don't think Bakugo will ever be a villain. I think he's gonna have the personality of like coming across as a bad dude, but in deep down, he wants to be a hero, deepest to the core.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, they do get punished. Deku and Bakugo get punished, but All Might later tells a story, tells Bakugo basically the whole story, all for one or one for all, and that Deku inherited his powers and stuff like that. And at the end of their little discussion, Bakugo basically tells Deku, he's like, listen, you have to improve your quirk. You better not be losing to me. So in a way, Bakugo's motivating Deku in a
Mm-hmm.
way to be like, hey, just we're officially rivals, and that's where I said in my previous reviews. This is where the Vegeta
And the Goku and
Goku
Vegeta, yeah.
rivalry dynamic comes in with this, and it's no more of a just not hatred towards one another. It's more of a friendly now rivalry where they inspire each other and stuff like that.
I guess that's where the shipping came the gay shipping came from.
I don't. That's disgusting. We're not doing that. But
No disrespect to all you gays out there. Look, I'm not discriminating, but
yeah, we're not
why?
discriminating, but just don't do it to anime characters, please don't.
Too late. People are already doing it to anime characters.
Yeah, but I took it from a grain of salt where now both characters know each other a little bit better, and they're I wouldn't say good friends, but they're now more friendly because even after when they were cleaning the whole dorm area, which I forgot to bring up because of the attacks from the villains, the school decided let's build a dorm system. That's why it feels like more of a university,
Mm-hmm.
like a college university. So when they were cleaning up the dorms, um, Deku asked Bakugo, he's like, so what'd you think of my shoot style technique? Because that's what he calls his new little kicking technique, the shoot style thing. And Bakugo basically is like, yeah, he's like, it's all right, but there's some things you can still improve on it, stuff like that. So I like the whole aspect where it's like now I feel like they'll still have arguments and disagreements with one another, but when it comes to being in the moment, they need to realize to help each other out. They'll do that because it's already proven that they could do it. They could swallow each other's pride from season 2 and work together well. And it's the whole, and it's like I said, it's the whole Goku aspect. The two best rivals usually win the most fights, really, if they work together. And it's always a common trope. Like two rivals that work together are literally unbeatable. And who knows? Maybe when it comes to the final battle, they will work together at first, and then that's when Deku will take the ring of being the one guy to finish and save the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then last episode were introduced to Miro, and I completely forgot what his quirk does, but I like his character, and he's gonna be apparently a very big character coming up in season 4. And
Power.
that's the one thing he says, power. That's funny because and it's funny because his two friends are like, okay, dude, you really just stop showing off right now. There's like this one guy who was in the corner with his head on the wall, and he's like, you don't know what you're getting into, and stuff like that. So,
Wow.
yeah, it looks like Miro is going to be a very interesting character, and I can't wait for season 4.
Yeah.
Season 3, it's my second favorite season. I like it a lot. It's just the whole licensing thing. Yeah, it was okay. There's some episodes I really like the Momo episode and the Deku versus Bakugo Part 2 episode. That was good. Other than that, I would say season 3 is a solid 9 out of 10. Still really good. Still really good. And I can't wait for season 4 after seeing this. And I was like, when I was done watching this, like, darn it. I'm hooked in, and now I want season 4 to come out right now. So, yeah, season 4. That will be in the next video, our previews and predictions of season 4. Oh, I forgot to freaking say this. So before when the hero licensing exams are all said and done, one of the leaders of Shueisha High School was like, "Yo, where's Cammy?" And then the leaders was like, "Oh yeah, Cammy was feeling sick and something like that, so she went home early and stuff like that." And it's later revealed that when Cammy's walking, she later shapeshifts back to Toga.
Dun dun dun.
And it's revealed that she shapeshifts into characters of who blood she gets.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently she has their DNA because they're blood. And it's also later revealed that she somehow in her fight against Deku, since we now know who it was, she got his blood too.
Yeah.
So when we get into the previews and predictions for season 4, I don't know how this is gonna turn out, because if she was able to fool Deku, she didn't fool Deku. At first, she fooled Deku, but we all know most of the other students aren't nearly as smart as Deku, and she could get fooled. And that's why I'm saying maybe they bring back the Ochako feelings for Deku, but Toga really tricks Ochako.
My God. Oh my God.
Playing with her emotions.
No, that she doesn't deserve it. Oh my God.
That will probably be a prediction that I will see in season 4. And we're going to get into more of the previews and predictions for what we can expect from season 4. Because I skimmed a teeny bit of the manga, but I didn't look too much into it. I know who apparently the main villain is of season 4.
Oh yeah, and one other thing about the blood. What if the villains found out about One for All being in him? What if the villains they find out?
That's gonna have to be another prediction then for our next season 4. It's getting whack, and also All For One is in prison. He was basically crap talking All Might, and All For One knows of Deku. So,
oh boy.
If he breaks out somehow, which I honestly think and this is really not a prediction for season 4, but I think when the series is about to wrap up and it's gonna be the final thing, I think the League of Villains is gonna break him out somehow. And
somehow Deku's gonna have to
fight him.
Yeah.
And I also see it coming that I think, just like Nana Shimura, All Might will die to spare Deku's life. And that's when Deku will have full control of his powers.
That's just a prediction.
That's just a prediction for me saying that's how I would personally end My Hero Academia off when it's the final thing after their 3rd year. when they're full and are after a full say a year after they're being all full fledged heroes and they go their own separate ways. They all come class 1A. It all comes back together to fight all for one. And I would say when Deku's fighting Shigarashi in All for One,
Mm-hmm.
um, it looks like he's gonna die, but All Might comes back and
Saves him.
saves him, but dies in the process like Nana Shimura. And he basically in his dying speech would tell him like, "I always believed in you, kid." He's like, "There was other strong people that I saw throughout the time me training you that could have taken my course, but there was something in you." That's how I personally ended the series off because I think it'd be a great ending and it'd be awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I would mention where he gets the girl in Ochako as well. So, because I love shippings. I love shippings. But other than that, our next My Hero Academia video will be our season 4, basically predictions. And yeah, and
Are we actually gonna do Konosuba reviews too? Because that's what I've been wondering.
that's up to you. If you want to do Konosuba, I'm down to do any. If I do Konosuba and you want to join in, that's fine. But if you aren't sure about it, I could just do it by myself and stuff like that. But
Again, if you're 13 and under, I don't recommend watching it. Go watch it.
but other than that, till then, guys, it's been Camper 15.
And the Red Wolf.
And it's good to make another video for you guys. Till then, see ya.
Power!